Yeah, so I run a barbecue restaurant in
This is great.
Lexington, Kentucky, and you guys are marketing geniuses, both of you. So just, what advice do you have for small guys like me, competing with the big guys out there?
John, before you answer that, Chandler, can you give us a little more context? How many years? What kind of revenue? Like, give us something to give you a real answer. I mean, we could give real good answers to that question, but here we are, right? Let's go. Let's go even a little further. Give us a little more context.
How long you open? How much you doing in sales?
Sure. So we started as a food tent a couple years back. Worked our way up to a gas station.
Love it.
After that, we actually just closed that location to open our next location, which is a real location now. So. Yeah, we'll do about $1 million in sales this year.
Good for you.
So we've done a lot of social media stuff to this point, but it seems like I don't know.
It's been tapped out.
Like we hit a plateau.
Yeah,
you know what
happens.
I mean? And I'm like we're getting ready to bring a video guy on full time.
Where's your location?
A daily barbecue show on YouTube.
How you feeling about your location?
Our new location is really strong, but I'm one of those guys. Like what we're doing now is plenty to make enough money. The problem is that we're just like I always want more. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to get better. I don't want to get complacent. I really feel like we've just hit plateau.
How many cars go by each day? What's your traffic count?
The road we're on, probably 15,000 or so.
Okay, so you're on a road that would qualify for a national franchise. So he's got some good potential based upon the traffic on that road. I'm going to say something. And I think Gary's going to agree with me. We're not in the content business. We're not in the restaurant business. You're not in the barbecue business. We're all in the business of creating reactions. When a post creates a reaction, it works, doesn't it? 100%. When it creates no reaction, it doesn't work. So the post isn't the product. The reaction is the product. The post is the vehicle. To you, barbecue isn't a product. Barbecue is a vehicle. The product is a reaction. Are people reacting well? Are they sitting up when the food hits the table? Are their feet tapping to the music you're playing? How are your guests reacting to what you're doing?
Yeah, everything reaction-wise has been fantastic. They're all my mom's recipes, all homemade. We like to joke she was farm to table before it was hip. She grew up on a farm in South Georgia. But yeah, I mean, people love the food.
So you got a story.
Reviews online. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
You have a story, and the most powerful asset to marketing, particularly to millennials these days, is to have a story. Is that story online? Do people know that story? Your mother's recipe? Are you creating curiosity online and in a marketplace to try your mom's recipes?
I think I'm the guy that does the marketing. I'm probably dropping the ball on not really hammering home the mom side of the story.
Not only that, you're not hammering home shit because you haven't posted on Instagram in 4 days.
You are right about that.
I'm aware, and so to me, you hitting a plateau from a marketing standpoint. Like you as somebody who's got such a great piece of you have food for Instagram. Like you've been given a gift. I'm working with people that have concrete companies, like fencing, like doorknobs. You have barbecue food in Kentucky. Like you should be posting 4 times a day on Instagram, right? And you're not. So for me, you haven't tapped out anything. You haven't even started.
But it's even more than that.
Right.
I'd be posting pictures of the smoker, the product smoking, the raw product, making real quality statements in what you're doing. You've got to create curiosity so people want to walk through the front door and taste it.
And Chandler, when you have a baby that ridiculously cute sitting next to you and working on the business, like this is, wait a minute, you've got barbecue in Kentucky, which allows you to speak about a lot of things like sports and other things. It doesn't have to always be about the food, right? You could talk about the basketball team and things of that nature. The recruits.
You think so? You think people like that kind of
100%, brother.
side content
If you literally post and use the hashtag whoever Kentucky recruited, and I promise you 5 of them are superstars, and you use their hashtag of those 5, I promise you that people are going to discover that because they're clicking that hashtag Kentucky
basketball.
It's
forget
religion.
About it.
It's religion. So yeah, I absolutely do. Like when I look at your Instagram and great job by Andy here, like pulling up your stuff, like we haven't even begun here, right? And you could do one day just on the beans, one day just on the coleslaw, like one day just on the beans, like 4 pieces of content just on the beans. Are the beans good?
Right. Man, that's so easy to do too. I mean, you're 100% right because it's all made from scratch. So the essence of making stuff from scratch is a story.
Chandler, are the beans good?
I mean, you can see the path there. Yeah, I mean, they're the best fucking beans on the planet.
Dude, I love beans.
So I got to tell you something. I'm looking at your page right now, and
12 plus hours.
And there's a bottom left picture, which I got to tell you guys, is one who takes professional food pictures. That picture sucks. And the reason why is you're showing little unimportant things. You got to come in on the meat. You got to show the juiciness, the thickness of the ribs.
You did a good job here on this one. Right? Like, what is that? That's a hush puppy, right?
But you're getting closer to the product. You can see the crisp, the flavor. Try to make these pictures a little closer. Try to get people to connect. Those are okay. But that's almost a little too close. There you go.
That's some shit right there.
Look at the U.S. Air Force. Is there a base nearby?
No, not here.
And this post on May 14th, the one that said Happy Mother's Day, right? You know, you've got the Mother's Day hashtag, but there's no other hashtags that you used, right? You could have.
Right.
So, like, you got to get into best practices, too. And remember, right, you called in, that means you know me. And I always say, watch what I'm doing, not what I'm saying. And, like, you know that I'm treating my Instagram very differently than you're treating your Instagram, right?
Right, yeah. I guess I guess I just had to double down on. I mean, I'm not. I guess for our market, I'm just not believing in Instagram, but that's probably dumb. So, I mean, we do a ton of Facebook advertising and really go into that. But
yeah, look, it's not about being dumb or not, or it being dumb or not. It's mapping your output to your ambition. You've achieved something incredible.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I'll explain. You've achieved something incredible. Most people will never build a business that does $1 million a year in revenue, right? And I have no idea. $1 million plus. God bless. Right? To me, me, I just heard from you. You opened this, and let's rewind it. That said, you're still hungry, and like I'm not. Listen, you got a little one at home. I'm not telling you how to do your work-life balance. I'm not telling you. You do you. Here's what I can tell you. By looking at your Facebook and YouTube and Instagram in a 2018 environment around food culture that is completely being dominated by consumption online, I don't think your actions are speaking to you being hungry.
Okay, so what? I know your answers always do everything, right? Yes to everything, but you know, obviously Instagram.
Yes.
What are the two other things I can do in 2017 to set us up right for 2018?
So again, I think, watch what I do and not what I say. I think you should be. Right. I think you should literally get an intern from a local high school or college if you can't afford it, or if you can afford it, or you have a relative. I think they should literally film you every single day, and you should put out a piece of content for 3-minute, 7-minute, 19-minute video on a day-to-day basis. Lyle's Barbecue, day-to-day, every single day. From those videos, I think you should do 4 posts on Instagram, 7 on Twitter, 5 on Facebook, and I think you should start a barbecue podcast, Kentucky Barbecue Podcast, and put out a show once a week on audio. Above and beyond working every day and taking care of your little guy. If you're as hungry as you fucking say you are.
But if you were, then you would have posted, and that 4-day gap wouldn't exist because you posted before the 4 days.
But John, I'm empathetic. Chandler's deemed that, that's not as important. Facebook ads are working better. And Chandler, what's fun to talk to you is, my spiel, which is like, fine, that's doing better now, but it's also because you're not doing Instagram well.
Right. No, absolutely. You're right about that. We just need to go back to doing some homework and get into practicing. You're 100% right.
I want to add one more thing if I can for you. If you can increase your guest frequency by 1 visit a month, that's a 12 to 15% increase in revenue.
Right.
1 visit more per month is 12 to 15%. You need to work on that as well. So you need to have the frequency programs in place. You need to have programs to get people that come midweek back on weekends, people that have a propensity to come on weekends, to come back midweek. You need to work this in a more immediacy type of a way. You've got to increase frequency as well, especially in a market like yours where you can only get so many new customers. You got a lot of barbecue in your area.
Sure, yeah. No, absolutely.
So sometimes it isn't a question of adding more customers. Sometimes it's a question of adding more customers and more frequency. And that's the combo that together will make you much more successful.
There's also an insight to the way
John, let me ask you this really fast.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Go ahead.
In restaurant business, pricing is key. Now, and I know, like, with us being a fast casual restaurant, John, where do you think the price point needs to be average ticket-wise? Because I'm under the belief that because we make everything from scratch, we're priced just a little bit higher, and we do a lot to try to differentiate ourselves with marketing and telling stories on Facebook and things. But we're going to have to do better, obviously. It sounds like. But what price point do you think, and does that play into it at all?
Well, let's say you were selling a steak for half the price of somebody else, and somebody comes up to you and says your steak is too expensive. They're not saying it's too expensive because they pay twice the price for a steak someplace else. They're telling you your steak is not worth the price. So I don't think you should ever lower your price. You need to make the statements that provide the value commensurate with that price. So are you saying the things, recipe, spec, our best ribs are the best in the world, the meatiest, it falls off the bone. You don't have an absolute value issue. You have a value perception issue. And there's a difference between perceived value and absolute value.
Sounds like Gary.
I wouldn't lower your prices. I would build my value statements.
And what's interesting about that advice is there was something in the way that you were communicating about Facebook versus Instagram. I would highly recommend you think about branding versus sales. Too many people, when they're it's if that's the case, I could just tell that you're a smart enough man to know a shitload of eyeballs are on Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
So
they are.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say they are. I guess I'm just, I don't know. I'm doing that stupid thing where people like justify that it's not happening in their area or, but it's happening everywhere else in the world.
This whole notion that ran through your mind that nobody in fucking Lexington, Kentucky is on Instagram is ludicrous.
You know, honestly, what you're doing is you're assuming an excuse, which is worse than making an excuse in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean,
don't assume anything until you know it. That's what's exciting about this environment and the things that you're doing is you can test all of these. And it's not only what you do, it's how you do it, as Gary's saying, to make it more work effectively. But don't make the excuse out of the gate, because then you're going to discount your initiative and your effort before you start.
It's interesting. I believe so much in driving people to if you've got quality, the cost of acquisition is something that is fascinating to me. So, for example, we're about to do something at Wine Library, my family business. We have a huge gourmet department. I want to continue to build it up. And we're about to create something called Free Food Friday. Like, we're going to give away a fuckload of free food. Like, just like, I don't know, show up between this 3 hours and we're going to give you a $20 food gift certificate. And the truth is, the cost of acquisition for us, that $20, because we know our business is so much better than a lot of other people's business, that we can make that ROI positive in a 2 or 3 year window. I am fascinated. Now look,
can I make that work for him? I do exactly the same thing in a different way.
Go ahead.
If you buy a guest through traditional media, the cost of that guest is typically $40 to $80.
Bingo.
So let's say your rib dinner costs you $5, food costs, the ribs, the potato, the platter, the whole thing. I would give out 100 coupons for a free rib dinner to people that have never been there before. No restrictions. So now, Gary walks up to the front door with a coupon. I got a coupon for a free rib dinner, never been here before. Come on in. First of all, I don't pay till they come. Second, I'm paying $4.65, not $40 to $60 per each customer. And then here's something that nobody else will tell you. If somebody goes to a restaurant for the first time and has a flawless experience, the statistical likelihood of them doing a second visit is about 40%. They come back a second time and have a flawless experience. The statistical likelihood of a third visit is still about 42%. The third time they come, the statistical likelihood of a fourth visit is over 70%. So you got to market to 3 visits, not 1. Visit 1, free rib dinner. You sit them down, put a red napkin on the table, not a white one. Identify them as a first-time customer, connect with them, and work to get them back a second time and a third time. Once they're there the third time, you own them.
My man Chandler,
the red napkin thing is genius. Because in a fast casual environment, we're not hitting that table side.
Let me give you a
napkin that's red on the table.
Can I detail that for him?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you put a red napkin at the table. Gary sits down. He's eating dinner. Now he's getting his free rib dinner. Orders water, costs him nothing. I know he's a first-time customer because he's got a red napkin. When he's leaving, the manager comes to the table, writes on the back of a business card, $5 off chicken. Did you like the ribs? Loved them. You got to try my chicken. Come in for the chicken. Now I'm prompting a second visit, not with a printed coupon, a handwritten card. Now he comes in for the second visit, drops the business card on the table. Everybody knows this is a second visit because red napkin was the first visit. Second visit, you finish the meal, you go up, you say, so how was the chicken? It was freaking great. Are you full? Totally stuffed. Man, next time you got to try my cheesecake. Free piece of cheesecake. Now, 3 visits. Ribs cost me
a piece of cheesecake. Oh, I thought a pizza flavored cheesecake. I was like, that's fucking brilliant.
So the rib dinner cost me $5. The chicken was a washout because it was a discount.
That's right.
The cheesecake is $1.35. For about $6, you got 3 visits out of them with a 70% likelihood of a fourth. That's the way you market a restaurant within the 4 walls of it.
That is huge, right? That's why you two are the best.
Chandler, let me give you one more for the road, mister. There was a very interesting thing that John said, because I grew up in that environment too. And John's from the traditional marketing world that we grew up in, from pulling from his world. Notice how he said, first time customer, I'll give it to you. Because the traditional retail and bar thing is like, look, it's more like if you've already got somebody in the funnel, the cost of acquisition for a newbody is very, very, very powerful. I used to do that too, but it was tricky, right? Because now some of your old time customers may see that and they've got that angst of, wait a minute, why am I being not treated that way as a loyal customer? You just want new people. And it's always been a friction for us, right? In the right? Now, I just went to Instagram, right? I typed in Lexington, Kentucky. Got it?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at 9 posts right now that are top posts, and ungodly amounts, unlimited amounts of people's posts that are from Lexington, Kentucky. I went down all the way down, and that's from 48 minutes ago. 40 pictures down, 48 minutes ago. Thousands of people are posting right now on Instagram from Lexington, Kentucky. I go to the top 9 posts. I click the middle one. It's a nice little cute couple, right? They got 298 likes. Abby, she's from somewhere. She's part of a sorority, it looks like. She has 2,387 followers. There's a triple dot in the top right corner on Instagram. I hit it. It lets me send her a message. I send her a message. Abby, see you in Lexington. We love being part of Lexington. Here's a $20 off coupon, $10 off coupon, free chicken. Only she sees it. You're grabbing somebody who has a big social media profile. You've not hurt any of your loyal customers like me and John had to back in the day. She comes and she posts a picture of the food and creates word of mouth. Now that $5 acquisition created no friction to loyal customers. And because she's now media, she amplifies it, and you're getting an $80, $500, $4,000 media amplification against your $5.
And last one thing, don't discount. People get addicted to discounts. They don't get addicted to free.
That's right.
So
that's the one thing we've probably done right that we've never wavered on was discounts. I mean, you don't cheapen the product for sure. Well, guys, I appreciate this, and I just want to say one thing. You know, when I separated from the Air Force 3 years ago now, I watched a ton of Bar Rescue, and I watched a ton of Gary's content, and you guys and the content you put out really helped me build this business from literally we were a tent on the side of the road to now we have our a brick and mortar business with very little debt on it, and that's something you guys helped me with. So I am eternally grateful. And if you're ever in Lexington, first rack of ribs is on me, and no red napkin needed. So
and I'll end with thank you for what you've done for this amazing country that has created a framework for us to be all able to do this.
That's right.
All right. And if anybody out there, YouTube, Law's Barbecue Company, check us out.
I love it. Good plug at the end.